Another hot day. What's up, fam? It's Joe Mill here with Killer Miller Q, and today we got a busy day. I got my Lone Star Grill going already. All my Lone Star Grill gear on. We're gonna be doing a big cook. I'm putting the Lone Star to the test, putting myself to the test. I got a light catering event. Get ready. Long video, brisket, chicken, pork, you name it. Let's get it. Alright, we're gonna cut the music. We got a whole lot of work to do, so I hope y'all don't like no sleep. It's gonna be a long video. As you saw, we got a whole lot of work to put in. I got a 19.5-pound brisket over here and a 17-pound brisket. Pretty good ones if you ask me, for these to just be choice. I mean, I can see that good marbling it's got right there through the flat area, which is always usually a good sign. As well as I was able to see some decent marbling over here on this one. Obviously, it's a lot more stuff that I'm gonna have to work off. We'll really get to check it out once we get it out the package. But nice thick ends on here. So hopefully we shouldn't have too much. I'm looking forward to it, even though it is late over here. But it should be somewhat therapeutic, because I usually enjoy getting a good trim in on a brisket. And then, like I said before, I'm looking forward to bringing out my new Kiyoku chef knife. And that's what I'm going to use to do my trimming today. Let me get these babies patted down out the package, and then we're going to get to work and start cleaning these babies up. Alright, we got the Big Daddy already outside the package. This is not going to be a trimming video, and like I said, it's going to be long enough, so I won't take too much time other than give you some quick anatomy, and we'll look at each one of them. Got your flat down here, your leaner side, and then we got this big old point down here. One of the few times I've seen actually a little bit of bone on my brisket, right? It's all meat. Almost lost my little pan. Get us some tallow together, get that extra fat up off of here. So basically, we're just gonna go ahead and clean this up. I wanna get off all of this extra fat, bring this down a level, take off some of the silver skin, and then I'm gonna be rounding off the edges over here to get this thing a little bit more ergodynamic. And then I'll flip you around here in a minute. Okay, we got one side pretty much cleaned up. I don't want to go too hard on it and gouge it all up, and I want to try to keep as much product as I can. Sometimes you can get crazy, and I can get all of that silver skin off if I wanted to. I might come back over and get a couple more passes just to kind of bring some of this down. But I don't want to chase this line in here too deep and then mess up my whole brisket, and we have things falling apart. Let's flip it over and let me see what's going on the other side. I'm liking the level of fat on there. Pretty thin right here actually, but we'll even some of these spots out. You can always kind of seal on the side. Some of this is going to be a little thicker. I want to get down to about a 1/4 inch, and then this one's kind of got that flap on there, that ear. Some people don't mind this. What I'm gonna end up doing is we're just gonna kind of lift this up, this old mohawk, and then we're gonna cut that right off. All right, back side's pretty cleaned up. Did find me some more gouges and stuff, but I'm just trying to bring down some of that fat level, even this thing out more or less. Brought this mohawk down a little bit. This baby's pretty much good to go. Let's move on to the next. Alright, brisket number 2. This is respectful enough. Don't want to gouge into it too much. Gave it a little bit of shaping. Let's flip this baby over. I swear it doesn't happen often, but of course it would today. I got a mohawk on this one too. A lot of times you never have a mohawk, but I mean the anatomy of every brisket is a little bit different. So we're going to get a little of this extra hard fat off of here. Try to get everything down more or less to about a 1/4 inch, and then I'm gonna cut this mohawk shoop right off. Back to the scene of the crime. Top of the morning to you. Hey babies, using the old barbecue tub just to kind of hold on to these nice briskets we got over here. Sure is nice to open them up and they are already trimmed and ready to go. We got some time to go. I got my grill firing up right now. Takes a little bit to get settled, get everything going. Let's go ahead and keep on letting these babies come on up to temp, and let's get them seasoned up. I'm gonna start on the fat side, and then we'll flip. All right, so we got one done on the back side. Not using no binder today. He's gonna get plenty of time to set up. You know, I haven't been using a lot of binders as much as of late. I'm gonna flip this right over here to this cutting board, and let's do the top side, and I kind of go over the seasoning I'm using today. This rub that we're using, I like to call my Texas brisket rub. And pretty much my little, almost lost it. My little ingredient list is almost rubbed off of this bottle. But you're looking at 3 parts of black pepper, 1 part of like kosher salt, a half a part of paprika, and a half a part of garlic powder. And I like to use the granulated garlic. So once again, 3 parts black pepper, 1 part kosher salt, half a part paprika, and a half a part of garlic powder. And we end up with this right here. All right, the work is done. These babies almost look close to the same size. This one's still a little bit bigger. But now that we got them all trimmed up, they're definitely more comparable. Let's see if I can get you a good side by side. Let's come this way. Yes, yes. All right, they're gonna hang out. That Texas rub on there. Part 1 is done. Fire's coming up. We're gonna get these on first. All right, we on the outside. The rub has been sitting on here, I don't know, 45 minutes or so. I got my tallow, all that fat that we cut off, over here in the pan. So we're gonna be smoking us and getting us a little bit of tallow out of there to be able to use on today's cooking moving forward. But these babies is ready to go. This has already been a few hours in, you know what I mean? When you think about how long it took to trim the night before. The day of, getting up, getting this grill going. Lone Star is pretty much up to temp. I just threw a log in, so I'm gonna let my smoke dial down just a tad, even though it's pretty thin blue. But you know, I like to get that baby real clean, like. But that's not too bad right there. That's not too bad at all. Haven't talked a whole lot about this cook other than what you just saw in the intro, but this is a special cook. Long-term client of mine. You know, I'm a trainer. Always have been taking care of people. They always looked out for me. They want some Killer Miller Q. Hubby's birthday. 40 people gotta eat, and I gotta make sure it's right. So you looking at the first installment of what we're gonna be cooking today, but we're gonna bless this meat one time, and we to the grill. And we on. Go ahead and set the timer. We ain't coming back in here no time soon that you're gonna see, at least until we're around 3 hours, or I feel like it's some action worth seeing. The sacrificial lambs, I'm bringing you back to just about 2.5 hours. As I'm adding some wood, we're gonna get our first peeks over here. I got me some spritz, 50-50 apple cider vinegar and water. Nothing crazy, something I'll be able to use on the pork butts. That's we're gonna be getting together here in a second. And then I got me a mason jar to get me some of this tallow up off of here. Let's see what we got. Hey, baby. They looking good. Starting to see them lines and everything coming through. About time for a spritz. See some of the little corners look a little dark, right? Starting to bark up like I want. I don't know if I'm gonna quite rotate them yet, other than where they're at. I think I'm just gonna spritz them and let them be, and then I'll bring you back here in a little bit. There go that. Let's see if we got some of that down there. You see that? That's that tallow. That's that liquid gold with some smoke on it now. Back in the crib. You are looking at another roughly about 16 pounds of pork over here that we got to get on there next. 2 pork butts. Just give you an idea how big that XL barbecue tub is. I do enjoy this thing, even though I'm not sponsored by him or nothing like that. I should get back to him and holler at him. But at the end of the day, this is a good buy. I enjoy it. I'll be able to do these pretty much right in there. Leave them in there. They can sit, and then they go on to the pit. Not too much to do as far as trim. I'm gonna get rid of some of this fat on the fat sides. Both of these are fat side up, so this one's been tightened up pretty tight already. I'll bring this down and at least take off that big layer right there. You definitely don't have to. You can score it. Some people just leave it. Really doesn't matter. Me personally, I always try to get rid of it. I like to get more of the bark, more of the fat that I can remove now is less that I got to get rid of later. I do cook fat side down. That seems to work best for me. You do what works best for you. You know how it works. All right, so on this one, we're going to be using some of this Killer Miller 110. It's just a seasoning or just an old Killer Hogs container I have. But this is that 110. If you've been looking and riding with me before, you pretty much know what this is. This is my AP, pretty much. It's pretty easy. About 60% of this is going to be black pepper. 40% of this is going to be salt. And then you got about another 10% that comes in as granulated garlic. So mix that up good. That's going to go on this pork butts. Should give us a great crust. And at the end of the day, a whole lot of good old-fashioned flavor. So not a lot to see here. Let me get rid of this fat and we season these puppies up. All right, there's your final product before they actually make it all the way out there to the grill. All trimmed down a little bit. seasoned up with that Killer Miller 110. And these babies already smell great. Love that granulated garlic on there. Ooh, it's getting hot out here. 3 hours and 20 minutes in. We've been rolling right along. Pour off some more of that tallow, maybe move some of that around. These babies starting to look good now. You see a little bit of self-basting starting to happen. So we don't want to, I won't wet that spot. I'll let that go. Little bit of that weeping happen right over there. But you usually want to hit them edges. They're starting to get a little bit more crisp, right? Looking good all the way through. Starting to get a little bit of that reddish color. Let's get that apple cider vinegar and water mix on there. I'm going to be bringing my second rack in so I can kind of rearrange some things and make some room for these pork butts. So give me a second to put in some work. All right, we got us just about a full small mason jar of liquid gold. And let me show you the party we got going on up in here. We just now adjusting back, just filled it up. Both of them booties is in there. We got them up. Briskets is still chilling. And we'll keep on taking a little bit more of that tallow out, and then eventually I got enough. I'm already in action over here as we got tons of stuff to do, and I'm not going to worry about giving you this easy recipe. I'll make sure I pin the video in, but I'm about to put together some pickled onions. Those will have to sit overnight, so I'm about to quickly use my mandolin, go ahead and chop up the rest of this onion. The only reason I did bring you back was I forgot to tell you about that Kyoku knife, as I was trying to use that a little bit when I was doing the trim on the brisket. Definitely did well for some of the bigger areas, but overall that's not the correct knife to be trying to trim with. You know, that's not really what a chef knife is for. But man, does it do great on these vegetables, which is exactly what it's for. Most of the time what I always use is this knife that I had purchased here off of Amazon. This is more usually one that you're going to do with your trimming, your boning type knife or something like that. That baby still does wonders. So one way or another we got it done. Let me chop up this onion and then you'll see the finished product. Finished product picture perfect, baby. Super easy. Definitely check that video out. In my mind, they'll be able to do a little bit of pulled pork sandwiches or whatever. You can throw those on top. They come out great, as well as if you want to make like a little brisket sandwich. They come out great with them on there as well. Them little pickled onions do wonders when you talk about throwing a little extra flavor on there. This is going in the fridge. That'll be ready tomorrow. It has been about 5 hours. Look at that thing, holding strong. About 5 hours on these briskets. About an hour and a half on these pork butts. I see they starting to get some beautiful color. Being that I know that they're so close to that fire, I'm gonna give them a rotation right now, just so one side doesn't get too much. These briskets, let's pull them out. Ah, that's a little hot. Let me grab this. Ah, there we go. Come on out here. Almost touch, almost touch. Hey, they looking good. We got some good looking color 5 hours in. One thing that I said I was gonna do was rotate them. Lots of weeping over here. We're gonna still clean that up, and I'll show you how we're gonna still make that some good bark. We do got that decent runoff, so they haven't been pooling so much, but definitely is giving a lot of juice out of that one area, just like you can kind of see in some of them other ones. But other than that, we're barking up nice. I'm gonna give this thing a full 180. I'm gonna give it a whole 180 rotation, so I can get the fatty side down here in the front. We're gonna go ahead and stick that flat in the back. And then the other thing that I want to do is I'm gonna switch it. I'm gonna put this one over here, and I'm gonna give this one a little bit of time over this way. And then, like I said, here go those pork butts. Look how pretty these look. That nice natural red color on there, along with that good old black pepper. Oh yeah, we're gonna take care of them today. That bigger one sitting on top, got a little bit of that apple cider vinegar and water on that. That's one reason why I went with that. As a spritz, I could use it on pretty much everything today. There is the one that was on the bottom, just gave him a little rotation so you can see the other side. See the color of it over here in the light. Look at that red coming up in there, that good smoke. That's all we want. That's all we want. Now you can see a little bit more of the point side. I always feel like the back of my grill cooks a little bit hotter. So by points, you can see it got great looking bark already. I'll probably be coming over here in a little bit and throw a little bit of aluminum foil over the caps just so they can slow down. I don't want to keep them too dark before the rest of this thing go ahead and bark up the way it needed to be. But we looking pretty good. One thing is you can see right here, just to show you why we get rid of as much fat as you can. And that was the spot where they got that kind of eyelid, so I didn't want to go in there, but your rub can't stick to that fat. So at the end of the day, you can see where that's cracking up a little bit, right? So that's why I like try to get rid of as much of it as I can. That's usually one of the #1 problems some people have with trying to get their bark. But this baby looking good. We closing it up. We got a whole lot more cooking to go. Starting to get late. Starting to get late. A full day of cooking. We done kicked up just a little bit on my temp. I know it's time to wrap. We are at what, 7 hours 45 minutes on the briskets. You got about almost 4 hours over here on the pork butt. Where my glove at? All right. Now this was the fat side that I actually put up. Now once I trimmed it down, it wasn't too much fat, so you can see all that separation, letting me know we getting closer. Got me some good bark on there. Let's get us a good idea where we at on temperature. 75, 76. Could easily go on the rack the whole time. I hit the bone on that one. But at the end of the day, same over here. That's good. Rotating did well. But I don't want to, I want to make sure I keep some moisture in there for them, since this is going to be for them the next day. As well as, I'm trying to speed this cook up. We still got more to go. We're going to be out here all night. Look at these briskets. Woo! This thing is hot. Barking up very, very nicely. Looking nice and succulent. Perfect. 190. Doing good. Doing good. I'm kind of going more or less center spot. Now, check this out. This is something good to see. Sometimes, now with this said, the point can be a little bit further along than the rest of it. But a lot of times you can hit them fat pockets and get stuff can spike up and show you a temp that's not necessarily legit. One way or another, I know this got more time to go. These both were big briskets, and it's only been about 8 hours. So I'm going to check out some other spots. I know the flat is always usually the spot that wants to take the longest. And at the end of the day, it's going to take a little longer before we get to where we want to be. See what I'm saying? 186 down there. So I'm going to pull all of these up off. We'll be throwing some tallow on there. These are going to get wrapped in butcher paper. And then these are going to actually get thrown on a rack, and I'll be putting these inside of a pan with a little bit of apple juice at the bottom. Hey, I want to jump in here real quick and let you know, thanks for following along on today's long cook. I appreciate y'all, and if you're new to the channel, go to that bottom right corner, make sure that you subscribe, check out some of the other videos you've missed, take a second to make sure you like this video, and then make sure if you haven't done it already, find me on IG, Facebook, and TikTok under Killer Miller Q. Oh, this is the labor of love, shall we say. All day long we've been putting this work in, and we ain't even close, huh? It's kind of fun, I have to admit. This is how I like to wrap my brisket. Basically what I'm doing right now is I got 2 big pieces of just some regular butcher paper, and I kind of more or less stagger them to make it a little bit wider. And I'm just kind of hitting it with a little bit of what I had for that spritz, that apple cider vinegar and water. This really doesn't do anything. The only reason I'm doing this is just going to make this paper a little bit more pliable, make it a little easier as I'm going along. I'm going to throw this brisket right down, and I'm going to start it off with a little bit of this tallow that we was able to put together, right? That liquid gold. Add a little bit of tallow. I'm going to let it sit there. We'll wrap it up. We'll fold it over a couple times. It'll be locked in for what it's worth, and that baby's going back in there. And what I want to do is I'm going to put it in there with the flat side towards the back, like we were doing in the beginning, or in this right now, and that way it could finish up a little bit faster, maybe catch up to that point. And then once we get to around 205-ish, 207-ish, we're gonna get it up off of there. Let me grab one. Super simple. I mean, I think it was one flip. It ended up being meat side down. Flipped it one more time, you ended up with meat side back up. And I just kind of always fold it before I make that last flip to kind of make everything nice and tight. One thing that's nice about butcher paper, if you don't know, you get some of these gaps, some of this little bit of area to breathe. This paper is actually porous, so it allows it to keep getting that smoke. That's how it helps to keep that bark, and it doesn't quite steam all off like it does with aluminum foil. But that's the care package. Let me get this one in. I won't show you the second one until it's done, and we'll go from there. Count it. This baby's ready to rock. My nice little tight care package. I'm gonna grab my probes so I can stick them in here in this flat. And other than that, we back. Oh yeah, we need a pork butt. All right, now with these 2 pork butts over there, man, the color on there, I gotta make me a pork butt soon. Anyway, I got me I decided to go with a big one. I was gonna put them in 2 individual small pans, but it's probably easier for me. I'm gonna go ahead and put them in 2. And then you see I threw some racks in here, threw a little bit of apple juice in here, not a ton, because you're gonna get some juice that's gonna come out of here. But we're gonna be covering this with aluminum foil, so we're gonna be keeping all of that moisture in here, get these babies nice and tender, so I'm not too worried. We'll get more fat that's gonna juice in there, and then we're gonna get it all done. So I'm gonna throw both of those 2 pork butts on this rack, and then grab that aluminum foil. We'll wrap it up tight, pop these babies back in there with some probes. Candy, boy. Look at that coating on there. That bark is going to be absolutely delicious. Absolutely delicious. 182. So we got us another 15 degrees. And I should have these babies about ready to rock. Obviously, you've missed a couple things, but about 6 hours in, these babies is temping out at about 195-ish, just like I wanted. You see that bone popping out of there, that natural thermometer. So they good to go. I'm gonna throw this off in the oven, let these hang out for a little bit, and eventually we'll get a chance to go ahead and start pulling. Expecting these babies to be about where I need them to be. I've been out here a couple times already, working on cleaning up some chicken just a little bit, and I'm gonna show you that. There we go, 207. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, they're gonna have some good eating up in here. I take it. Let's get these babies up off of here. I'm gonna let this thing breathe for a second to kind of stop the cook, and then we're gonna wrap them up, and I'm gonna have them sitting outside since it's nice and warm out here in Arizona, right in my cooler. All right, tallow is on. Let's wrap these babies up. You going tonight? He looks beautiful. Back on the grind. I've already taken the liberty of cleaning this chicken up, taking off a little bit of that extra fat like I like it, and getting rid of the nasty stuff that ain't supposed to be here. That's a nasty job for somebody to be doing. I couldn't even imagine sitting over here doing competition thighs. But I saved you the time on that, shorten up this video to some degree. But basically, you looking at about, what I think, 16 pounds of leg quarters that we got to get cooking here. I'm about to pat these babies down. We're going to get everybody oiled up. We're going to season up heavily. Today, I'm about to be using Kinder's buttery steakhouse seasoning, which I think is going to be amazing on these chicken quarters. But let me get to work. Let me dry them off. Bada. Everybody been dried off. Everybody been hit with a little bit of olive oil. We got a whole lot of chicken over here to tend to, if you can't tell. And there's still one more pack over here. One more pack over here. We're going to be using that old Kinder's, like I said, buttery steakhouse. It's a mean flavored little tasting type thing. Initially, I tried it on steak. I didn't love the color it gave because it gave it a little bit of that yellow color. But on the chicken, it's going to be fire. And it actually tasted pretty good. All right. So, we got them ready. Everybody got us a nice little coating. I'm about to transfer everything back into this bigger tub here. And that way they can stay nice and cold together. And then we're going to be taking them out to the pit. But first, one more thing. Last thing. We almost home. Last thing we need to get together is some smoked baked beans. Alright, now let me show you how we hook up these beans. These is nothing but some general, I believe I got bush beans, nothing crazy, just beans out the can. You get whatever you want. I wish I would have had enough to put all in one, but once I saw how full it was, I broke it up into two. Anyway, you got about 4 cans in each, all right? Super simple. All I'm gonna be doing is, and I chopped up a large yellow onion. I got half of it that's going in one side. I got about a half a cup of some brown sugar that's going in, and then I got about a cup of barbecue sauce. And again, you use whatever you like. I like some beans that's gonna have a little bit of kick, so I got a mixture of about half of a like sweeter sauce, you know, Sweet Baby Ray's, and then the other half got a little heat on it. That way they should have just enough to give it a little bit of flavor. All we're gonna do is throw all of that in there, mix it up, and then we top it off. Just like Mama taught me. That's how you finish them off right there. You put that bacon on top. I didn't add no rub or anything in. We're going to get some salt off of that bacon. We'll get a little bit of grease off of that bacon. You'll get some meat from that bacon. These going to be all right. At the end of the day, I'll try to mix it all up. Get a chance. You can taste it then. If you want to add a little more seasoning or something like that, you can do it then. But I can guarantee you, after this smoke bath, these are going to be ready. Let's take it to the pit. Let's finish this. Woo-wee. Got us a nice late night fire, still rolling strong at 250-ish. You know ain't nothing coming up out of there. You know how we do this. Now I let this fire die down a lot because I got this chicken on here. I can't stay here long because my phone will overheat pretty quickly. But notice we don't got no real fire kicking up. It's bright, sitting up high. I'm about to let it sit for 5 minutes, and then we'll flip. 5 minutes. You can see a little bit of color. I flipped them once. Just want to make sure that I ain't too hot on this grill. It'll easily hold for another 5. Bring you back. Got a few minutes, and that chicken will be changed. And I just popped this into a new pan. This has been sitting for a while, so it's a little colder. This juice I just tasted with that apple juice and what dripped off of there with the seasoning is pretty good. We will be saving that because you always need to add a little bit of moisture back into it. But we're going to break that down quick fast. I got about 5 minutes. Yeah. So I got that second batch of chicken moved in and already off to its start. And then what I did was the other chicken, I know it's not done. So I went ahead and moved it into the smoke side, let it get some of this bath. I want to check you out, or let you check out some of this bark. Look at that good smoke in there. I mean, some of these pieces. I mean, I like to go through, get these big tubes out of there first, and just anything gooey, anything that don't feel right in your hand, get rid of it. I'm talking about, when I tell you this is tender, we could just bow. Yeah, like that. Just like that. And you can see it's still glistening, full of moisture. I'm going to quickly, and I hate breaking it all the way up to super small, so I kind of leave it a little big and then let people kind of go at it from there. But I swear, just the SPG, this is my only piece, okay? Just a little quality control. All right. About to strain the juice. I'll add just a tad, put the rest in the bag, and I'll have that for them tomorrow. In the middle of the night. All right, let me get some light back over here. I had to take a small pause on this last batch of chicken so I can get my coals back up because I was running pretty low. Let me show you what I got going on up in here. Hey babies, how y'all doing? See that little hole in that bubbling? That let me know that might be close to temp. You know, I like to take these quarters, that dark meat, I'm gonna go to at least 185, something like that. I'll leave a little juice in there for them. But we got beautiful color on here. Basically, I gave all of them a little bit of a kiss back and forth. Let them finish out here over the smoke. Woo-wee! And the baked beans, baby. They looking like they getting close too. Pretty much, I don't know, I want them to get like a good hour, half. And when you see that bacon looking about the way you want it to, that's when you can stir it all up and in there together, and you'll be good to go. Here they go in the house. Let me cut this flash off. Give me that extra glare. There we go. Man, these babies look good. Smelling great. Check out that crust. If they don't like these, hopefully they give it all back to me. And I will give it a good place, a good home, and we will figure it out. It's hard to believe that I'm still not done. One more batch of chicken. My God, 2 in the morning, and I am tired. This will be the last video you're going to get for the night. I got these beans in. We got to give them a good little stir. And that way we can mix in all that good smoke in there. I'll show you what we did to the chicken, them leg quarters. Went ahead and let them rest for a while. And then go ahead and broke them up. So that way they got legs and they got thighs. So I got one last batch out there. I'm about to finish that up. I'm going to wrap this thing up for the night. I'll recap it for you tomorrow. And believe it or not, man, we got this thing done. All right, family. Your boy was on fumes last night, but we got to get this thing finished. We got these briskets. It's the next day. Just now, I took them out the cooler in the middle of the night after they had about 6-7 hours of rest time. Crazy that these are actually still warm. They was wrapped up in the aluminum foil along with this blanket sitting in that cooler. And after that, they went in the refrigerator. But it's actually still some warmth as I kept them all together, though. But let's do it together. This was the smaller of the two. I'm going to slice this up for them. It's not all warm, so I won't get the normal bend test and everything else. But I need to make it nice and pretty for them and easy for them to get to. We got that half cut in there. This baby is definitely juicy. We nice and smoky. Nice and rendered. Keep in mind, this is still cold. But look at that. I'm not going to taste too much, and I'm not going to squeeze out all of their juice because I want them to get the best of the best of the best of the best. But I did taste some of that since it got on my hands. Wow, the flavor up in here is going to be all right. Let's finish cutting. It's game time. Everybody chopped up. Brisket number 2 was actually great. This is a piece of that point from brisket number 2. Remember, this is cold. Still sitting there glistening, pretty rendered, great looking bark, and smoke all the way through.
And officially, that's a wrap. This is the aftermath. We're going to sum this thing up somewhat quick. I know this video is long, so I appreciate y'all hanging in here with me. That cook right there took a little steam out your boy. Let me tell you, disregarding the prep that I did before I actually got started cooking, we fired that grill up at 6 a.m. and that baby kept smoking all the way till 2:30 a.m. At the end of the day, this is post, and I can tell you, everything came out good. My peoples was happy. Like I said, this cook meant a lot. That's one of my ex-clients. Wanted to make sure that came out perfect for her husband's birthday. Everybody said they enjoyed the food. Got a lot of it left over. There was more than enough to go around. As you can see, we did the damn thing. Quick observations and things that was kind of just things I took away from doing that. The one thing is I have so much love and respect for all my boys and my girls out there that own food trucks, that do restaurants, that do catering, stuff like that. So many people don't respect how much work goes into putting together that much love for that many people. Okay, it's one thing for me to get back here in the backyard, pull out one rack of ribs, they look perfect and I can show you. It's a whole other thing when you got to do it for 40, 50, 60 people, 100 people, so on and so forth. Having that consistency all the way through, it's a lot more work than you think. A lot of times people never can understand why briskets, why barbecue prices cost so much. I remember nowadays you could probably go see brisket, it'd be $35 a pound easy in some of these restaurants. And some people look at that, and me included, look at that and you think there's no way I would pay that and it's just not worth it until you actually put that work in yourself and you get that brisket and you see how much you got to actually trim off of fat and stuff like that and how much that doesn't even count into the weight of what you just paid. And then you go spend 10 to 14 hours cooking something. That alone, if you just look at that in the hours of the work that you're putting in, that starts to tack on real quick to how much it costs for these items to get out there. I remember during COVID, there were a lot of restaurants that couldn't even serve brisket because they was literally losing money trying to put it out there and they didn't feel comfortable charging as much as they would need to charge to actually be able to turn a profit on everybody else. So you definitely get to respect that when you actually get to do it yourself. You start seeing how much product you're using, whether we're talking about seasonings, aluminum pans, extra dishes, sauces, you know, this, that, and the other. Things you don't even think about when you just cook it for yourself, that all goes into as you're putting something together. Like I said, that was a long cook. I'm happy everything came out great. Impressed by my Lone Star, which knocked that out like it wasn't nobody's business. No problems there. Smooth and easy. I also noticed that I really didn't use much wood, which I was really impressed with for smoking that long and smoking that much meat. Really didn't have to use too much wood. I had a little bit already set to the side when I got my new load that came in I wanted to use up first. I ran through that and that was enough. I never even had to go over into my extra stack or grab anything extra, so that was cool. Didn't take too much wood. I remember too being able to, and I think I actually had to take this out, video was so long. One time I was going in here to check some things out, I was able to pull my bottom rack all the way out with 2 big briskets on there, 2 pork butts on there, and that baby was able to hold like nobody's business so I can get in there and do what I had to do. I thought that was good. You know, so many of those racks I'm sure are not that heavy duty or maybe can't handle that much weight. At the end of the day, let's see if I get this right. We had about 37 pounds of brisket, 25 pounds of chicken, and 16 pounds of pork butt went through that smoker. On top of the fact that you saw we did some pickled onions and we also did those baked beans. We put in a full day and then some of work. Took me a couple just to recover. But with that said, we got it done. Another one down. I won't always be doing this because the fitness industry needs me. But if you're local, holla at your boy. We might be able to work something out, okay? Peace to the family. All my folks over there at Black Smoke Barbecue, you in the TV land, and everybody else that's been supporting, including my clients, I appreciate y'all. We catch you next week with a shorter cook, a little something for myself. Until then, peace.